Intrepid viewers, one and all, I'm back. It's a big relief to be back, although I do miss Greece already. It took 4 days to get off the island. I did have adventures. So there were 2 days of raging storms and there were no boats. And then I could finally get a boat to another island and got a light plane and got to Athens and then to Doha. But each step of the way, it was like, oh my word. You know, didn't know if Australia had even let me back in. I thought this is their chance. Oh dear. But I'm here and I'm under 2 weeks self-quarantine. So you'll have to join me in this. Lucky we have YouTube. So, of course, I've been trying to keep up with what's going on, which hasn't always been easy with my computer crashing and things kept happening. But what I have noticed is Trump looks so uncomfortable, doesn't he, at these press conferences? He's standing there like he's got cold custard in his pants. He just looks so miserable and haunted and hunted. You know. So we'll have to have a look at how he's handling it. And I thought Giuliani's been quiet. Have a quick look at him. Ivanka had the cheek to wade in with helpful tips for parents with their kids at home. I mean, really, Ivanka? She managed to keep the 77 au pairs, nannies and, you know, tutors out of the shot. Have a quick look at her. So let's just launch in. Oh, before I do, the very best thing about being back is I'm doing personal readings again. So if you want a private reading, 1 hour with me, email me and don't forget to tell me exactly where you live so I can work out the time difference. Okay. So get in touch because I thought I needed a break from readings to freshen up, but I've really missed them. And meeting you guys is, I think, one of the most amazing parts of this work. So the other housekeeping news is I'll be doing a duet with Marianne, Revealing Light Tarot, and I'll also be joining Johnny and probably Jen Lynn very soon. And I also want to give a shout out. There's a new reader on the block called Tea with Tanya. Please check her out. I think she's got lovely energy. So let's first of all, I've got the Russian cards out. So we're going to have a look at how the Yeti is holding up. Because as we've often said, have we not, intrepid ones, he's had such a glorious run. And astrologers say that. They look at his chart and go, God, he's had the luckiest chart. But everyone runs out in the end. So let's see how it's looking for the Yeti right now. Okay. Things aren't too bad. Oh, this is fated. It's not just fated for him either. It's fated for America and it's fated for all of us. So, on top, he has the 10 of Cups. This is him trying to pretend things are normal because he is perhaps the most ill-informed president in the history of presidents. So he's been oblivious to just about everything. So on top, this is the part of the Yeti that just doesn't engage with real issues. So he's just, you know, putting a bit more ketchup on the hamburger, and this is him, how he's always handled everything. So, but what is happening now is more and more sleepless nights, more and more concern. Of course, it's all concern about him. He is a malignant narcissist, and So he's just worried how this is affecting him. He's not worried about other people, other Americans, or even his base. I mean, one of the greatest illusions that has happened through this whole nightmare has been the people who support him look as if he gives a flying toss about their lives in West Virginia or anywhere else, or even downtown Manhattan. He is so out of touch with people, and yet they buy it. And now, of course, he can't have his rallies, or he might, but that'll be an issue. But this is him worried for himself. Oh, poor me. Five of Swords. Whatever I do, it's not working. I better sack a few more dozen people. I better rant and rave because it can't be me. But this is a worried man. So this is him. He's actually in shock. I would go as far as to say shock, right? Because he's always been able to bully and bluster. He always punches down. It's always someone else's fault. So this time he can't, and he's in genuine shock. But the Wheel of Fortune. So this is destiny coming into play. America had to have him. I've said this before, I'm not the only one to say it. Vile and vulgar and vacuous as he is, it had to be that bad for people to get the wealth inequality in America, to get the fact the system had in fact crumbled 30 years ago. It hasn't happened on his watch. This is, along with the other V word, the virus, is bringing it all home to roost. All home to roost. So suffice to say, he isn't sleeping, wasn't a big sleeper anyway. He's actually in a state of panic, so he's not in a good position to make decisions, and there's no way out. The Wheel of Fortune has been spun. So while I've got the Russian cards out, why has Rudy gone quiet? Well, to answer my own question, you'd have to think he finally has taken advice from his own legal team, because the first thing any lawyer says in any case is do not speak. Do not speak. So he's been very subdued, but I want to see if he's going to make a comeback with this rubbish over Biden and the Sun, or in any capacity, or is he being investigated? What's happening with Giuliani? Giuliani, is he being investigated? Is it going to go anywhere? Giuliani. Giuliani. Well, yes. You'd have to think he's under investigation. Look at this. He's being patted down. He's being patted down symbolically, meaning the authorities have come and said, enough of this crapola. You now have to explain your behaviour. Now, with this, the Three of Pentacles, this has a very Italian vibe despite being Russian, doesn't it? And there's Giuliani, maybe with Lev and Igor, but it could be with any, no, it could be Firtash. This is him in the past dining, literally dining with these people and making these plots and plans. The Five of Wands conflict now with these people. They're fighting over the chair. This is the 12 Chairs Tarot. It's the Five of Wands, normally that pointless conflict card. They're all blaming each other. So then we have the Page of Cups, which is news and surprise news. So it might be surprise news for Giuliani, or it could be surprise news for us about Giuliani. Now, because I've been away and I only had one deck with me, I'm sort of using lots of decks today. So I'm just going to pull out a few of my little clarifiers. How bad is it for Giuliani? How bad is it for Giuliani? Surprise news. I've probably got them all upside down. Oh, this is... The clarifier on the message is the message. So there's definitely news in the wings. This is someone coming from further away bringing the news. This is sort of a slightly more militaristic or legalistic figure bringing the news for him. Oh, health mightn't be the best. The person in feeder, this is the merchant who had his fingers in too many pies. The crossed arms, the business deal isn't working out. And the ammalato, not well. Genuinely not well. Genuinely not well. This isn't like Weinstein suddenly on the walking frame sort of thing. He's really not well. Okay, now while I've got the Russian cards, I want to have a look at Ivanka. I was so offended by a picture. I don't know if you guys saw it. Handy tips when you're at home and the kids can't go to school, how to play with your children. And so there she is in the picture. She's in this white dress that probably cost $5,000. She said, you can make a tent just by pulling chairs together and putting a tent. This tent looks like it was from the set of Lawrence of Arabia. It probably cost $24,000. And, you know, so Ivanka, I want to know what's happening with Ivanka. Haven't tuned into her for a while. I noticed one of Bloomberg's ads goes for Ivanka, but I don't think it's savage enough. I think it's far too polite. Ivanka and her hideous slumlord husband. Ivanka. Three of Swords, Ivanka. Oh, being stabbed by 3 swords, weeping. Aww. 9 of Wands. 4 of Wands. And the mercenary. Well, she's a mercenary. If ever there was a mercenary witch, it's Ivanka. Okay, so first of all, with this 9 of Wands, it's a chess game. It's a chess game. Now, her father, the Yeti, no way he could play chess. He'd be flat out playing drafts and he'd have to cheat. But she's playing a chess game and always has. Okay, so, but she's playing more than one game. This is the problem that she's up against. The 4 of Wands can be happy, can be a celebration, can be a wedding, can be all sorts of things. But for me, the 4 of Wands has always been the celebration that doesn't quite live up to its name. So I think this is her public persona. I'm happily married and I'm a perfect mother. And besides that, I'm a princess. Did I tell you I was a princess? So all of that is now falling short. And I would say socially, she's fallen off more and more lists as the Yeti's presidency has continued. I think she's more and more literally isolated. So now we have the Knight of Pentacles, the mercenary for hire. So is it her or someone she's hired, or is it someone for hire who's doing her in, or what's that about? I need a clarifier for the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles, the mercenary. The domestic enemy, love, and oh damn, she'll probably be all right. Hate that. Oh, shouldn't be vicious. Now, so this is someone in her domestic space, her lover, her cross-dressing husband, always loves it when she goes out. Pure gossip, why not? This is an entertainment channel, I stress yet again. But then she gets this Five of Hearts, which is a sort of celebration. I wonder if she's going to have another baby. It's not the Empress card, which can indicate fertility. This could be, keep me out of an orange jumpsuit. If I have another baby, everyone will feel sorry for me and I can't get arrested. I don't know why, but I'm just getting a vibe. This could be another baby for Ivanka. Ooh, as if the world needs them to reproduce any further. But look, the children aren't responsible. They are pristine. They are innocent. So, we'll see what happens. But other than that, the mercenary card, I think there could be some degree of investigation into Ivanka's business practice, and if there isn't, there should be. So that's her. Now I'm going to leave those cards now. Pelosi. Now, most of us have thought Pelosi has always had something up his sleeve, but of course, with this current situation, it's thrown everybody for a loop. Absolutely everybody. And I heard, you can maybe tell me if this is right or not, viewers, that she's actually not that keen on this handing out of help money for people, which shouldn't be even regarded as help money. I think what's fascinating about this conversation of $1,200 being given to every American, maybe means tested under 70,000 or whatever they decide to do in the end, but it's changed the conversation. Andrew Yang was advocating this and was laughed off the stage. Now, apparently, the administration has actually gone to Andrew Yang's campaign people and said, we need to do this and we don't know how to do it. What can you tell us? You've obviously done the studies and crunched the numbers. And Yang, to his credit, has said to them, yeah, I'll help you do that. But while these things are announced, you know, there'll be no foreclosures for 60 days and all of this. This is all very commendable, but people's lives are still going to be really difficult after they get a $1,000 check at the end of April or whenever it is. What is interesting to me too, as a sociologist, I was watching a bit of Morning Joe the other day. You know, not that I like Joe Scarborough, but I think the voice of Republicans who have left the Republican Party because of the Yeti is important. So I occasionally tune into him, and he had Stephanie Rule or somebody, another anchor person, and they were talking the problem with corporate bailouts. And we on the left have been saying this for 40 years, but now they've just worked it out. They don't employ more people. They don't do anything good with it. They do buybacks. They buy their own stock back to make their own figures better, and they don't help their workers at all. And here was Joe Scarborough and Stephanie, whatever her name is, I think Stephanie Rule, saying, what about the workers? There have to be guarantees that this money gets to pay the workers who are laid off and on reduced hours, etc. So it was like a Bernie campaign or something. So this is part of the bigger picture, intrepid ones. It's the end of peak capitalism, thanks to the oil. I'll read on the oil next time. And I think this is a great leveller, although the wealthy will always do better in a time of health crisis as long as any other crisis. it's nonetheless made people more aware of each other. And the fact that I think it's 70% of Americans, if not more, live payday to payday, just like Australians. And usually the Conservatives don't actually know this or believe it, and they're actually forced to look at it. And I think it's going to lead to bigger economic change in the future. So back to Pelosi. How's she handling all this? What's she up to? Pelosi. She's working very closely with Mnuchin on things. Nancy. What's happening, Nancy? What's happening, Nancy? Pelosi. I've gone back to my rider weights for this. Magician, working together as money. Oh. She's all right, despite this, which may or may not be the case. She gets two, with only 4 cards, she gets 2 major arcana. The first one, the magician, the alchemist, the transformer. And so this speaks to her power, as does the last card, the strength card. She is still a very potent force, perhaps more so than we've been thinking lately. She's been less in the limelight. But this speaks to her ability to really get something powerful done. Let's hope. This is the group work. It can be the dirty money, but I think this is more her working with Mnuchin and probably a few of the reluctant Senate. 3 groups, 3 entities, her and 2 others, or it could be as simple as Nancy, the House and the Senate. She's working and managing to work her magic to this extent. The Page of Pentacles, news about money. This is all about the money. So I think regardless of the news item that said she wasn't too keen on it, I think she'd have her own reasons for that, and maybe she was angling for a higher or a lower threshold or something for people. But her outcome is the strength card, and her ability to tame the beast. This isn't her taming the Yeti, he's untamable, but it could be the beast of the Senate to some extent. My take on that would be much more to be the Senate. Okay, now, given that we do live in such extraordinary times, I've been encouraging you to watch some of the political astrologers to help you get a better handle on this longer time frame that we're dealing with and the massive nature of this transition that we are all experiencing. And one of the ones I watch is Denise Siegel, and I'm going to put up a link from her most recent video on this video. And the reason I'm doing that is I think the title was something like the stock market, but she didn't talk that much about the stock market. She ended up giving a very good rave, I think, about how this is the end of one whole paradigm and we're entering another paradigm shift. And that's what revolutions are about and other things. People will only tolerate so much and then they fight for better. This is me talking, not Denise Siegel. Or the forces are such that change just comes upon people. But for what's happening in America now and this massive transition and change, I think she does a really good job with it in about 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something. So I would recommend having a look at that. In the meantime, I will be getting in touch with those of you who are doing classes. But for the rest of you, please, if you haven't had a reading or you want a repeat reading, email me. The email's on the video. And bye for now. The next one is my 400th video. Oh, okay. See you real soon. Bye now.